Hey everybody, welcome to the Chaleigh TV podcast. I'm Chaleigh, and tonight we're going to be talking about the subject of money and the struggling artist. We're also going to be dissecting the question, do you need to be broke to be an actor? This was actually taken off a forum question that I saw think about a week and a half ago. People like to oversimplify this a little too often, I think, because you have the one group that's trying to be positive and constantly saying, no, 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 you never have to, and trying to paint this rosy picture and, oh, you have options. You have that group. And then you have the other group, the no, like, you're going to be broke as crap. I'm like, you have to struggle for your art. And, so you have those extremes. And I want to talk about both of these mindsets and what is the appropriate mindset for us. Do we all need to be struggling artists for our art, or is there another way? Is there a better way to go about it? When you're talking about the subject of money is already, people will just dismiss anything that's going on in people's lives and just simply throw them, the 90 cent, 99-cent advice of go get a job. Well, of course, get a job. Yes, that's great. And you pay your bills, and then you pay other bills, and then you pay for more stuff. I've spent a lot of money on a business that hasn't even started yet. So I know what it feels like to feel like you're a struggling artist, especially at the beginning of your career, which nobody likes to talk about because it isn't as glamorous, for one, and it doesn't showcase what people want people to talk about when it comes to this subject. I think the reality of the situation is, even if you're very good with money, you can go broke if you're not wise, if you're not educated, um, if you're in a business that has a very, you know, I'll give you a prime example. When people ask what kind of business I have, and I have to explain that I'm actually a performance artist, that's it's very difficult for people to understand in their mind and what you're talking about. They're like, "Oh." I'm like, "Well, what do you sell?" I'm like, "Essentially, I sell myself." And like, I'm the performer. I'm the person. You know, you call me and I go and audition, and you see if I'm right for you, and if I'm not, okay. If I am, awesome, and you pay me and I do my thing. Um that's the condensed version of it. Anyway, but it just kind of irks me where people don't want to be candid about this, about how, let's say, for instance, you were poor, and you're used to living within your means and a certain lifestyle, and you maybe got, your health insurance from the state and all kind of stuff. Let's say you get a better job, okay? And all of a sudden, you get a better job with better pay, and you get it with benefits, and then all of a sudden, you don't need the state. You don't need this. You don't need to, but you still have to be mindful and wise and calculated, excuse me, of where all your money is going. Because I think part of being financially responsible and how people are able to sustain climbing the social, class ranks is meticulous watching and carefully calculating each and every cent that they have. Now, with actors, even if they have good jobs and good situations and good circumstances, or they have a spouse that is taking care of them or whatnot, you really have to understand that I'm like, this is an expensive career to have. You have to constantly, you're constantly paying for just a lot of different things that you really don't think about when you're first starting out, like your headshots, the classes, the training, the vocal coaches, all the different types of coaching, the books, the, if you're making your own production, that gets taxed onto it. The gear, if you have a YouTube channel, or if you have this channel or that channel or what have you, all those things add up. And I don't think that you have to be broke, but I do think that you can become broke if you're not careful and if this isn't very, very meticulously calculated. Now, life happens to us, and we all know this as human beings, and we all realize and understand, well, that life isn't fair, and people, all different kinds of things can happen to us. And that's where this gets tricky. So I think just saying a blanket statement where you can just have a job and you'll be fine is really, you're just missing, circumstance, situations, problems, surprises in life. You're dismissing all of that, which I don't think is fair. When people like to talk about this, when people give advice, even if they're well-intentioned and they want to be positive no matter what, that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, you need to also be reminded and respectful of what people are going through, because not every human being is starting at a fair place. Okay, that's just the reality of the situation, no matter how fair we like to say that it all is. It's not. And now, that being said, I think your mindset and your work ethic and how you approach it all is what separates the people that can take this and handle it and be okay, and the people that can't. That's where you'll see that. But as my mother used to say, I'm like, there are stereotypes out there for a reason, because most of the time they're true. Our family didn't knew this very much. Like, we were walking stereotypes. Like, and I see a lot of stereotypes within my own industry and within my own profession, and an actor's life, a struggling actor's life, a surviving life, a thriving life, however you want to quantify it. Anyway, so I just want to say that you don't have to be a struggling artist. You don't have to be. And but if you have the days where you're feeling like you're a struggling artist, I'm like, do whatever you can in your capacity to get out of that headspace at the very least. Okay? And it's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot. I want to thank you so much for watching. I believe in you. Knock 'em dead.